Are you a college graduate? If not, great news, real estate investing does not require any degree. But what if you went through college and even well beyond your graduate studies, but perhaps are still struggling to find that safe and secure job that will make your financial life everything you want it to be? In this interview, you're going to meet a wonderful couple that wanted to go a different path with their life. They value what they'd accomplished in academia, but they also realize that it may not bring them the freedom and choices that they wanted. They wanted to raise a family, they wanted flexibility, they wanted financial independence, but they weren't going to get it working in a lab and utilizing their advanced degrees. So they moved away from academia and into becoming real-world real estate investors, and they're going to share that incredible journey with you today. I'm Brian Bush with Freedom Mentor, and for nearly 20 years, our team has transformed people from all walks of life into incredibly successful real estate professionals. Phil and I are excited to bring you these real-world stories of our apprentices' experiences and real estate success to help you realize the power of creative real estate to achieve financial freedom. Throughout this interview, if you have any questions, text FREEDOM to 305-315-8030 or comment below. Now, let's meet Bryce and Julianne.
Welcome, everybody, to this exciting interview with two of my most favorite people that have ever come through this program, Bryce and Julianne. And I've gotten to know them over many years. They were very successful in this program. And Bryce and Julianne, welcome to this experience with Brian and I going through your journey.
Thank you. Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, and we appreciate y'all being here as well. So let's get the introductions underway. So Bryce, you and Julianne, were y'all together when you first investigated Freedom Mentor?
We were, yes. As far as maritally, yes, we were married.
Yeah, we
very
were.
much so.
But it was still very beginnings. We had just been married maybe 2 years at that point.
To start grad school together, we were both in sciences, chemistry and physics, and we were away on our degrees, and then eventually kind of started exploring different avenues for investing and stumbled upon your program eventually.
So you're in graduate school, and that's so interesting. You're pursuing your academic pursuits, these careers that you were looking. So take us back to before real estate. What were you hoping those graduate degrees were going to do for y'all?
Yeah, I think we're, I don't know. So I grew up in a very traditional family. Nobody had, on my immediate side, ran their own businesses. My role models, in my family as a kid. So my dad, traditional track and just blue collar kind of employee. And that was the path that I thought was the path that everybody took. And so I was just headstrong in school, very academic, very focused.
So we both were just doing the one step, next step. That was kind of like the route to take if you were good at the science, which we both were. So we were just kind of doing what was expected. And it was not quite the lifestyle that we were really after. And for me, it was okay, this is how I become not poor, or this is how I become stable, is by getting this advanced degree because nobody else in my family did, and I'm going to do something really different, which ended up being graduate school. And then it was a realization of, oh, it's really not. It's just a job that you work for someone else, and
that's true.
Pretty much, yeah.
Got questions? Simply text the word FREEDOM to 305-315-8030 and we'll help you.
Yeah.
So what is it that attracted you all to looking? Bryce, you mentioned investment. Was there something that pushed you guys towards looking for investments?
When I was younger, I was always trying to figure out ways to make money, different clever ways to kind of, maybe gain an edge here or there, whatever it was. I always just want to make my own money, to get my own things, and that was always a draw for me. Was how can I make money, kind of on the side too. And so we wanted to build just a foundation for us that we could actually not only just live on but thrive off of. And we knew that our graduate income, we were actually, because we're in the sciences, we're fortunate that our schooling was paid for. Pretty incredible deal. So we had a little bit of extra residual income that we could buy and save, towards something eventually. We didn't know what it was going to be yet, whether that's investing in stocks or whatever that was going to be. But we stumbled upon different things, and eventually came across. I think you fell through probably your YouTube channel. So I did that whole
Yeah.
thing too, and like this guy's a real deal. And I looked into other people, and you just seemed like you were authentic, you're real. You weren't like super salesy and pushy, so I appreciated that, and it just seemed to just jive with the whole program, and you as well, as a person. So I went to Julianne, was like, this. I think this is the direction we need to go. Like,
Yeah.
I just kind of introduced you to the channels or watching videos, and we both agree that it was a good fit. So yeah.
We need to figure out, like, how do we actually have a little bit more control over our financial future?
Yeah, and so did it seem like as you progressed into real estate, did it feel like you were leaving behind all the work you had done in your graduate studies, or did you feel like, hey, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I learned, but I need to make some money and have some flexibility in my life.
I think it was a bit of both, at least for me, because I mean, we had spent all this time, we had, dreams and ideas and expectations of what we thought life was going to be like, and so much time put into it. And
Mhm.
so in the moment, there was that, like, oh, we put so much energy this direction, but this other path with Freedom Mentor is really going to get us where we're trying to go. And then now that it's been several years, um, it it's I think it's a little less of a feeling of loss, because it's like, okay,
Mhm.
even if
Mhm.
we had gone down that path, or continued down that path, then life would still have probably looked different than what our dreams or what we had expected it to
Yeah.
be, when we were in high school and grad and like undergrad. Yeah.
You mentioned you'd read some books and done plenty of research. Did you at any point just think about pursuing real estate on your own without getting more guidance or training?
Just reading about different blogs, coming across different people that were successful in real estate. Something I did notice in common that they all had in common was they all did have a mentor. It really would have taken so much longer to learn the lessons that we had learned in such a short, compressed time. I mean, learning if you can get your business up and running in a matter of 5 years and be profitable, that's pretty good. But through a program like Freedom Mentor, being able to do it in a year or 2 years, maybe even 3 years, and have just a tremendous skill set at that point to be able to go out and help a lot of people. Um, Looking back, it was definitely the right decision. Yeah.
And the more we dug, it was like, oh, okay, this question leads to another question that leads to another question. It's like a large spider web of information, and it's like, okay, we could try to do this by ourselves and like sift through it and try to figure out which direction to take on the giant spider web, or we could get a mentor who actually knows what they're doing and be like, oh, no, no, go this direction, you're okay. So there's that aspect as well. Just the more you dig, the more you realize that it's bigger than you thought. Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, it's important to have an accountability partner, just a collective group of people that are like-minded to help keep that fuel.
Every successful real estate investor has a mentor. Get mentored by me and my team by applying to be my next apprentice. Click the top corner.
So you're one of the things too that you all have is that you're in a bigger market. You're in a large metro area. How has that impacted y'all's investing experience, being that you're in such a big metropolitan area?
I guess just the types of properties that we were coming across too. They were typically in just in areas that that are kind of like not war zones, but there's a lot of slumlords and that kind of stuff or whatever in
Sure.
those places, and it just had that
Mhm.
feel. And
Or
so we
yeah,
didn't always feel comfortable going to these places. We're always hesitant to move forward on them, and
we had to climb
um,
through some windows.
broken windows and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
you felt like you were investing in the hood, and that was a little uncomfortable at times.
well,
Yeah.
uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
we did, a lot of wholesaling. And then we eventually shifted a little bit outside of the, gradually moved, from the center out to Smyrna, a little bit more, a little bit further into more suburban kind of areas. And situating ourselves, I think where we are is kind of optimal because we're kind of in between. We got the city, and we have, we can get to the highway really quickly if we need to, get to property, get to deals that are that we've connected with that are maybe closer to the center of Atlanta. But we have the flexibility of position ourselves in the suburban market, but we have rural areas too, just continue a little bit further out. And there's just less competition, which is helpful. Not that competition is something that you shy away from.
Right.
In some sense, competition can be to your benefit because you might stand out if you're a part of Free Mentor. You'll not only learn how to run this business, but you're just around good people. You learn how to do the business right. You learn that it's a business of people and paperwork, really, at the end of the day. So, and if you learn that and you're focused on just helping people, you can stand out from the competition. And by the point where they've rolled out 4 or 5 different other investors, and you've been following up with these people, and they just finally pick up the phone, they're tired of all these other people, and they're like, you're just like a breath of fresh air for them sometimes.
Yeah.
And so competition sometimes can be your benefit, but it is nice being in a more suburban area where there's just not as much of that. And the client, I think the type of seller too that typically comes from a suburban or maybe even a rural area is a little bit easier to work with than somebody who's maybe has a high rise condo in the center of Atlanta,
Right.
who's more affluent, maybe a little bit more knowledgeable, has other resources they can tap into. So market does play a role, I would say, to where you are strategically.
Bryce touched on a little bit of like how competition has actually worked in our favor now. Like when we were first starting, we were like, there's so many competitors. They're getting to everything before us. But now we've learned to be a little bit more patient and then also learned our competitors. And so we can kind of predict what they're going to do. So Bryce will be either talking to someone on the phone or meeting them in person, and he literally can predict, oh, okay, you're meeting with so and so. This is what they're gonna do. And then he's like, just call me last. Like, I know you already got all these meetings planned, but call me again at the end. And so many times they're like, they did exactly what you said. And he's like a psychic almost because he just knows. And so it's worked a little bit in our favor.
Sure.
And then also sometimes we'll have them come back to us after they've decided to go with a competitor, and they'll come back because they're like, oh, we actually like you guys better, and you seem like a reliable, and this person like disappeared out of nowhere. So we it's become almost comical and in our favor sometimes. Yeah.
Looking back, kind of going back, if as you review all this as we take you down memory lane, if you had it to do again, what would you do different? Is there anything that you might look at and go, I wish we'd done this or done that? Kind of the advice you'd give to your younger self?
It's so easy to get caught up in the drama of someone else's life. And in this business, we not only deal with people that are cool people, but there's also the people that, they just woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day and they need someone to vent to. And, we just happened to be that person that day. I hadn't really dealt with that when I was, before starting real estate. And so I had to learn that, like, not someone, like an emergency on someone else's end doesn't necessitate an emergency on my end. I don't have to always feel like I have to put out fires immediately when someone else has a fire to put out. It's not my responsibility necessarily. So I had to be kind of empathetic, but kind of ride that balance of I'm here to help, but I'm not here to kind of deal with all the fires that you have going on, but I'm here to listen and not take it so personally when they're trying to vent too.
What has real estate afforded you all from a lifestyle perspective? What have you been able to do? What have you been able to experience as a result of real estate?
We've been able to really focus, I guess, just on ourselves personally, on our health, fitness, mental, physical, spiritual, whatever that is. Having the financial piece taken care of, just being able to pay your own bills is one thing. and then having some extra income, disposable income to go on trips and stuff like that is wonderful.
Yeah.
But when you get to the level where you've got a substantial amount of cash put aside that you can use to invest, you can use it to prepare for your future, but also for any emergencies that come up. A lot of stress and anxiety happens because you're not sure what's just on the other side, right? And so if you have capital to be able to deal with problems, a lot of times money can solve problems, and that
Sure.
when those emergencies come up, you can deal with them without any hesitation.
What advice would you give to someone looking to get started in real estate, looking at Freedom Mentor, looking at entering a business that you've now been in for 10 years?
There's so many. There's just a lot of information out there, obviously on the internet about the next big thing, whether it's investing in crypto or Bitcoin or whatever it is. There's always the the shiny object kind of syndrome thing. But yeah, looking back, I mean, they're like I mentioned before too. Just real estate is such a timeless business. It's everybody needs shelter. They need a place to live. There's always going to be people that have things just happen in their life that are unexpected, and the house is just because it has a lot of zeros at the end. It helps get them from point A to point B in their life, and the house is just a conduit to get from point A to point B. And it can be a complicated one, and being a seasoned real estate investor that's truly invested in the people and helping them can help bridge that gap. I guess it's important too to come into any endeavor in life, really, that anything worth having requires work, requires hard work, and it's not a get rich kind of quick scheme kind of thing, which often comes with its own strings attached and devious things too here and there. So it's a business that if you put time and energy into it, and you really focus on it, and you put hard work into it, and you're consistent, it's going to work. There's too many just too much support really through Freedom Mentor to fail, really, if you are truly invested in it and you're working consistently on it.
Obviously, you guys remain consistent and continue to do deals. What would you tell the person that's maybe looking at Freedom Mentor, looking at real estate, and maybe wondering, is the timing right? Right? Is there still an opportunity here? Have I missed the boat now that the market's changed or rates are higher? What would you tell them?
Rates and the market don't really matter that much because you're mostly dealing with people, and people need places to live, and things are going to happen in their lives that are going to make it so that there's room for a deal there, and they will happily let you make money if you solve their problem. So if you're working to solve people's problems through houses, then the market and the interest rates don't really matter.
Yep. And you guys focus so much on creative real estate too, that there's so many ways to look at a deal, and so many different ways to structure things to help somebody truly solve their problem. We're not, it's not a one size kind of fits all kind of approach. It's a diagnosis. They're coming to you as the expert, they're coming to you with an illness, and you're the doctor, you're the house doctor. You're like, okay, let's look at your symptoms. Let's evaluate how did you get from where you were to here, where are you going, and here's how we can solve it.
Thank you for sharing some of the parts of your journey that I learned some things here today that I didn't know, and I just thought that was so fascinating. But most importantly, I appreciate that the type of investors that you are and who you've become, helping others in the community, making deals happen, creating great opportunities, and creating a great lifestyle for you and your family.
It's very clear that Bryce and Julianne are sharp. They approached this business carefully. They were convinced this was the opportunity they needed to accomplish their freedom, flexibility, family, and financial goals, and dove in to have us help them master every aspect. As Bryce shared, this is a business of people and paperwork. But perhaps compared to objective science, people are a lot harder to figure out. There is a science to real estate, and that's what they applied and worked with Freedom Mentor to master. If you're looking for the right real-world opportunity, that will help you make the right choices for your future. Apply to our apprentice program, where our team will mentor, coach, and guide you into a world-class house flipping professional. There's a link in the description and at the top. And if you have any questions for us, text FREEDOM to 305-315-8030 or comment below. We read every single one. And if you haven't read it, get your free copy of the best-selling book, How to Be a Real Estate Investor. It's a great place to learn more and decide what's right for your future. I'm Brian Bush with FreedomMentor.com. If you gain more real estate wisdom through this video, be sure to like and subscribe and let us know below how we can help you achieve freedom.
Would you like to be coached by me and my team? Every successful real estate investor has a mentor. Discover how you can be mentored by us through our apprentice program by clicking above.